What would you do with a session 0? What would you do with a session 0? What would you do with a session 0 early in the morning? Today I'll tell you what I do with a session 0 and why, and my philosophy regarding them. If you look online for ideas or guidelines about how to run a session 0, you'll get a lot of answers. Most of them center around topics of the game itself or safety tools. I'll be talking about safety tools today, but my own version of them, which I'll save for last. First, I want to touch on a few topics that are really common, like world-building details, something you go over, information about your setting. It could be that you are using a preset world, like Galarian, or the Forgotten Realms tutorial, or maybe even your own homebrew world. Some of the details that matter for this are things like factions that the PCs might be part of, geography or environmental factors, like maybe there's a bunch of planar tears that appear at random. Like Fringe, I love that show. You'll also want to go over the adventure genre, the style of the campaign that you plan to run, or the mood or theme of the night, like a ghost story or a foraging survival style game, which I frankly hate. I hate survival style. It's just not interesting. There's no social interaction. I need social... Anyway. Or maybe it's like Happy Carnival or really heavy dramatic grown-up themes. You'll also want to go over PC classes and party configuration. Now, in PF2, this is far less important than in other systems because the balance of each class is about equal. But there are still jobs to be taken, even in PF2. Like giving negative conditions or creating battlefield obstacles, or protection and recovery, in or out of combat, area damage, single target, and so on. I want to emphasize this, though. In this game, you can play nearly anything with any party composition, and it will work. I understand if you don't want to step on other people's toes, though. Like, I took all the lores. So did I. Well, crap. Why'd I bother? You're just going to make all the checks. Yes, okay. It's good to talk about those things. That matters. You'll also want to go over house rules and bans. This can be anything from granting variant rule bonuses to banning elves, to making everyone rich at the outset of the game. Totally important, though, you'll want to think about how closely you'll stick to the rules as written. It may not be a big deal with your group, but covering this one issue can prevent future arguments. Some people like their rules, and some people like arguments. Here's a list of topics to talk about that fit under house rules that are good to touch on at some point. You can bring them up at the beginning to get them out of the way with the knowledge that you may have to remind the player if it comes up in game later on, and just understand that nobody can remember everything. Is using out-of-character knowledge okay? Will your group be doing full immersive roleplay? Is PvP attacking or conflict okay with your group? That one's weird. Like, why even bring that up? It's not like we're in an area in World of Warcraft and we decide to have a duel. No, like, these characters are people that need reasons to attack each other. It seems weird to bring that up, but I understand that you have to at least bring up the topic, especially with some people, and you won't know who those people are unless you already have a friend group that you're playing a game with. If this is a new group, you kind of have to touch on it. Under what circumstances is PvPing okay? Backstory and backgrounds. Will there be alternate rules for crits or fumbles? Fumbles. Character death and resurrection. How long can the group reasonably commit to playing this campaign? That one matters a lot. How often can everyone meet? How long should a session last? How long will you wait for someone to show up? What would make you cancel a session? What do you do with the character of an absent player? My first GM just said, okay, you fall in a hole. And then they just pop out of the ground later. Kind of breaks immersion just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to get into safety tools. But I do them a little bit differently. I like to have a session 0 with each player separately. Yes, it takes more time. Oh well, it's worth it to me. Because you can get more done more easily one-on-one. There's no interference by other players. The stress and discomfort is reduced because there is very little peer pressure. And most importantly to me, you can build a deeper, more personal rapport with just the two of you, which translates to better communication in group. During this one-on-one session 0, give them plenty of time to talk about whatever they need to. It'll help remove even more stress, and you'll get a better connection that will then allow the two of you to work better together during the game. You can even open with a goal that you can both work on together to ease the pressure further, like asking if they wanted help making a character and talking about something that is common ground for you both. It doesn't even have to relate to the game. After you've eased the tensions and talked about how their character is going to work, including maybe offering backstory ideas or pet concepts, whatever you excel at, whatever you have fun doing, then is a good time to bring up the area of safety tools and behavioral concerns. The first thing I tend to bring up is my preference of communication style, so people understand the best way I understand things, and it also helps to set their mind at ease because they know what to expect from me. For me, I want people to speak to me directly. Yeah, okay, I would prefer it if they thought about what they were going to say before they say it, but even if they have to just blurt it out with all the emotion they have, as they're feeling it, I need to know. I want to know. The most important aspect is that I hear about the issue so that I can help. I let them know that if they feel most comfortable emailing me or texting me or going into a different room or channel to talk about the issue, that's fine. Whatever they want. Because I can't help if I don't know things. Next, I need to know if they have any problems with any of the things that I know are going to come up in game, by naming them right then and there in the one-on-one session 0. I also ask if they have any certain concerns I should know about, and ask if they would like to fill out a safety tools sheet. I make sure they understand that whether they fill out the sheet or not, that my session 0 never ends. At any point in or out of game, they can tell me in any way they need to that something is a problem, even if it's just with an ew. I do that. Then I will pay close attention to how everyone is responding. And if I see anything odd, I'll ask to make sure they're okay. This is a fucking game. It's for fun and creativity. If you're not enjoying yourself overall, I'm failing at my job. I want to make friends, not lose them. Something else important is that when the first actual group session begins, I will reiterate that I want everyone to communicate to me directly and let them know that I will probably ask clarifying questions because I want to understand. It's a natural curiosity I have, sure, but also, if I don't understand the underlying issue of an action, that action is going to repeat. So we need to understand what the actual problem is so we can dig that up, unearth it, handle it, and then we can go forward much more settled. Also, very important, I tell them again at the outset of that group session that we're always in a session 0. I remind them that if they have a problem with anything going on in game, let me know in any way that's comfortable for them. I would also ask people to fill out a learning style survey if they're willing. I like knowing these things because it will help me understand how they learn and how I should present things to them and how they're going to communicate to me. Among other things, this will allow me to plan out what props to have and what form they're in. I'll include the learning style test I like using in the description below. I have a follow-up video on this topic that goes over more of the psychology and deeper understanding of group dynamics and communications in order to improve all your interactions on the Patreon page. But I'll give you a little piece of that video here with feed forward. If you have players that are a little more capable and willing to put forth their best foot in future communications with the group, and this includes you as the GM, I would assume that you are the first person ready to do this. You can teach them feed forward, which means that when they need to bring up a difficult subject or explain something in great detail, they first tell the person they're speaking to what the goal of their communication is. Basically, if something can be misunderstood pretty easily, or that if it is misunderstood, can have a pretty big impact on the game or big consequences, they can announce firstly that they are going to be giving feedback or telling them something that they feel. It sounds like this. Okay, I don't really know how to say this the best way, so forgive me if I don't make sense at first. I'll try to explain. I don't know why your character is being such a dick. Are you personally upset with me, or is this the character? Because I'm okay responding in character. It just doesn't seem to match what I know about them. So I don't understand. Help me. And then they reply and hopefully don't bite anyone's head off. But here's the thing. Anyone in this situation can take steps to diffuse the situation. And when someone is about to give feed forward, they should be prepared to diffuse the situation if need be. even if that is just by clarifying why they asked and what they thought about the situation. Or maybe it's by showing compassion or apologizing when they don't really rightfully need to, because that's what the person needs to hear. Everyone in the group should be willing to let go of ego and pride to make the game machine work for all of you. But what do you think? Do you have a preferred way of opening a session 0? Is there a particular fear or aversion that could mess up your game? Like, for me, if someone starts graphically describing an intimate interaction, it bugs me. Also bugs. Cockroaches bug me. I don't really want them in a game if I can help it. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about you. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thanks to my patrons. You guys make my life make more sense. I appreciate your support, and if you want to help me make these videos, you can become a patron and get deeper info on topics and have a chance to win some really pretty math rocks. Link below. And remember, it's amazing how much you can accomplish when it doesn't matter who gets the credit. Thank you all so much.